Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest. I am Marco, your host, and oh my gosh, today is going to be ridiculous. I'm just going to put it that way. We have been drinking already for a few hours. I don't even know how long we've been here, but anyway, so today I have Mandy, and I'm gonna mess up the last name, but I don't care. She's gonna correct me here. Kadura, is it Kadura?
Yeah, it's Kadura. You could be say Kadura, but
Okay,
if you want, it's Kadura.
I'm gonna say Mandy Kadura.
A little fancy to it.
Oh my God! So Infinite Photography Essay, right?
Yes.
All right, girly, talk to me. I want to know everything about you. I mean, everybody knows who you are. You're the queen.
I have been called the GOAT before. I have been called the GOAT.
We love that. We love, at the Tipsy Guest, we only have the best of the best, and that's why you're here.
Absolutely. I mean, the best of the best runs the podcast. So.
Girl, how long have you been in business? Oh my God, you are so good at what you do. I want to hear it all.
Oh my goodness. Let's give myself some grace and let's say a decade and some change. We don't want to age ourselves
We
too
definitely
much.
do not. We do not.
Let's say a decade and some change. So about a little bit over 10 years, I have been in the industry of photography and towards the beginning dabbling in weddings. Obviously, now I have married into the wedding industry. So it is definitely something that was a decision along the way, but over 10 years of photography.
I mean, and it shows. I mean, your work is so different from what I've seen out there.
It definitely is.
It's crazy. It is so beautiful, honestly. So I was recently watching a TV show, and your photography style reminds me of it. So it's a time travel show. It's on the Hallmark Network. I'm throwing it out there. Go watch it. It's called The Way Home. So I feel so old saying that I watched the Hallmark Network.
Just say not Hallmark. We're not pretty Hallmark in here.
But let me tell you why. So it's a time travel show. So they go from the present time,
Okay.
and then they go through different eras. So they
Okay.
go to the 90s, they go to the 70s, they go back to the 20s, and then they go back to the 1800s.
Yes.
So your style reminds me of the way they show the 70s and the 20s. It is just so, like, what would you say your style is? Like, what, describe that, because I don't even know how to put it in words.
Cinematic. I would say that it is very cinematic with the warm tones and bringing in that vintage era. Like you were saying, like that is on purpose. I am a huge history fan myself. And actually prior to becoming a photographer and opening a photography business, I did go to college and I majored in history.
Oh.
So history and antiques and just things that are a little bit more vintage based are what my personal interests are. So I feel like that does render into my art a lot. As far as you're seeing like romantic scenes, a little bit more sultry type of work, the warm tones, the yellows, darker greens versus like washed out greens. It definitely has a feel to itself. And a lot of my clients have hired me stating that they hired me because it was just so different from anything they've ever seen. And they wanted their weddings to be different.
Yeah.
They didn't want the same copy thing that they've seen everywhere.
And it again, you guys, and we will definitely get to it, and she'll let us know, her social media handles and everything where you can go see her work. But honestly, like as I scroll through your Instagram, it just feels so dreamy. Like I guess that's how I'm gonna describe it. It's dreamy. Like it's so pretty that I can literally spend just minutes and minutes and minutes just like scrolling through your feed.
Oh,
and
I
it's
do
so
every
pretty.
day.
I love it. I love that. No, seriously.
Yes.
I love it because, I mean, it shows how much you love your work.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we need in this industry. Honestly, like we need vendors that are still in love with what they do, and it shows.
That. I mean, it is to me an art more than anything. And I love being a wedding vendor because I feel like I am surrounded by artists. And I feel like that is what makes the wedding industry and what made my decision to marry into the wedding industry. And I say to marry into it because as an artist, there is so many paths you can take. I could have gone into commercial work, into family, into babies, into newborn, into product photography. There are so many different paths as a photographer that you can go down and still be as successful as you would in the wedding industry. But there is nothing like going into a place where a florist has put her heart and soul into the arrangements that you're seeing, where a designer has set up tablescapes that you're looking at that make you take a breath in and almost gasp because they're so beautiful, where you're seeing a bride who is not only, wearing a wedding dress, she's wearing a piece of art that was designed by somebody who thought into that dress that she's wearing. Like, every aspect of the wedding industry to me is art. So when I made my decision to be like, this is where I want to be and this is where I see myself, it was because I saw myself amongst these artists and I knew that I could bring something to what they were bringing that wasn't brought before.
That is the best way to put it. I am obsessed with you, girl. Honestly.
I am obsessed with you. I could talk for hours with you. Oh my God.
No. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. I mean, I feel like I said earlier, this episode is going to be ridiculous because I feel like all the guests that I've had, we discuss, of course, like the formal things, the funny things, the behind the scenes. But I feel like with you, we're just going to talk shit, girl. We're going to talk shit about...
Been waiting for a decade, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just kidding. I'm waiting for that.
We are just going to say the things that other people won't say. Because, I mean, the wedding industry, it's amazing. It's beautiful. But it could also be a circus.
It definitely can. Only because there's some clowns within the wedding industry.
Seriously. Okay, so my first question here is, what's one of the things that you hate the most about weddings? I mean, we always ask about, what do you love about it? But I'm going to go the opposite with you. What is the thing that you hate the most about weddings?
Gosh, it would have to be a hard pull between the timeline being arranged a certain way without really taking into consideration the photography timeline. And then also on the other aspect of it would be, having a high expectation with a low amount of time for the bride. Having a realistic expectation. So if you're hiring a photographer for 2 hours, you have to take into consideration how fast 2 hours goes with the photography realm.
Is that even a thing, though? Do they hire photographers for 2 hours?
There are elopements, and elopements sometimes mesh into wedding ceremonies. And not saying that every bride doesn't have the budget to spend, but some brides prioritize some things over others, right? And sometimes, not all the time, I'd say like 99% of the time, photography is a priority. However, there are the 1 or 2% where the photography is not the priority. And they're like, hey, I just want my ceremony done and some family pictures. And that's fine. However, it has been a hard pull for me to be able to walk away and be like, oh, okay, now this is the time that you paid me for, even though we're going into sunset time now. And those would be the dreamy photos, On the other hand, the longer weddings, the weddings that are 8 to 10 hours where you do have coordinators and you do have people like that, I feel like a lot of the times the coordinators are hired within that month. And sometimes they don't know the couples as well as the couples, because I get hired sometimes a year or two in advance. So I've done engagement sessions with them. I've seen them through different aspects of their planning. They've asked me questions on different vendors. Like, I've been a point of contact all the way until this coordinator is hired for the day of. And this is most of the time a day of coordinator coming in. And then I receive a timeline, and this timeline has things that are a little bit backwards as far as being like, hey, like, let's cut the cake after the golden hour versus cutting the cake before or in the middle of golden hour. And for those of you who don't know, because not everyone's a photographer, golden hour is right around sunset, right?
Okay.
It is right around this time where the sun is setting and we have this beautiful light coming in and there's a glowiness to it. And everyone goes on Pinterest and they're like, that's the photo I want for my wedding. It is a 30-minute time.
You're limited.
I am limited on the amount that you get that sun to be in that position. And that's if you get a sun, ladies and gentlemen. Not everybody has a sun on their wedding day. That is another
Have you
thing.
ever missed the golden hour for whatever reason?
I have never done that, Mirko, only because I have pushed.
Okay.
And I have been vocal. I have been like, hey, let me email this coordinator back and let her know that I would rather do the cake cutting after golden hour versus doing it during golden hour.
And that brings us back to the important things of it. You know, there's so many pieces to a wedding.
Oh,
and
there
the
is.
timeline.
Oh, there is.
Oh my gosh, the timeline is very important. I feel like a lot of the vendors, they don't care about the timeline. They're like, oh, we've done weddings for so many years. We don't care. No, planners want you to read the timeline because I've worked with so many amazing wedding planners that they always ask, hey, if there are any adjustments you want us to make, talk to us.
Exactly. And they do. They always ask that. So I say like 9 out of 10, I will respond and be like, hey, can we make an adjustment here and an adjustment there if necessary, right? And a lot of tenured, wedding coordinators that I know have an idea of what golden hour is and cocktail hour. And, everybody else in the wedding gets to go to cocktail hour, your guests and your friends and everybody else. And that's the time where you have to take family photos, portraits, photos for yourself, and photos of your court. And any coordinator that is worth their salt knows that cocktail hour is photo time. It is. And so, you just kind of have to go with that. I mean, there are new coordinators. There are people coming into this industry all the time that you don't know, that you've just met. But like you said, a lot of the times they are very receptive to being like, hey, can we make an adjustment here, or maybe flip something around or do something in that nature.
And that goes back also to hiring a professional, because like you said right now, I feel like nowadays, and we were having this conversation earlier off the air, where it's like, I feel like nowadays everybody wants to be a vendor, a wedding vendor, oh yeah, I'm going to be a coordinator. Oh yeah, I'm going to own a photo booth business. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a blah, blah, blah.
And people think it's glamorous.
Exactly. But there is so much learning that you have to go through to be able to execute an actual wedding. Not just because you think you know means you really know.
Yes.
So to our listeners out there, to our couples out there, it is very important to hire a professional. Yeah, of course, you definitely have to give, some people are starting out and we have to give them an opportunity. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're a vendor that's starting out, do your research, get familiar with things, get familiar with vendors, get familiar with what you're trying to accomplish just in general. Because
absolutely, 100%, 1,000%.
Because you're going to have a first wedding, and I mean, you're technically using that wedding as a tester.
and that's not a lie, and especially within my niche in the wedding industry, which is photography and videography, there are many testers out there. Yep. There are many people who are just trying to get their foot in the door into an industry that they're not familiar with, but want to be familiar with.
Yeah.
And I mean, that leads into education, ladies and gentlemen, go as a second shooter. Go look for mentorships. Look for people who are going to give you an opportunity to go to a wedding, but not have the pressure of the contract being under your name. Right? Because
you don't want to ruin somebody's photos on the first try.
Exactly. And, and a lot of people are so eager to get into this industry because they see money.
Yep.
They're like, oh, she's doing so well and she has this and that, and I want to do well like that too. And that's great. But at the end of this day, I feel like the wedding industry is the furthest thing away from money and the closer thing as to how you treat your clients and how your persona comes off towards your clients. It is more of a customer service job than anything. Like, we are there to tend to our clients.
And that's the thing that some of the vendors don't get. I feel like some vendors are very entitled, since we're talking shit here today.
Let's go. Let me hear it, Marco. I want to hear it.
I just feel like sometimes vendors feel very entitled just because they've been doing this for a long time. Sometimes,
tenure.
Yeah, sometimes they're like, you know what? We know what we're doing. We're going to do it our way. Well, guess what? No, it is a team effort. You have to sometimes compromise. Even though you feel like you know it all, sometimes you do have to compromise and be a team player, and you have to figure out a way to work with other people.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not just about you. It's about everyone that's involved, because it's a domino effect.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, a wedding is a bunch of small businesses and artists coming together to curate one day for one couple.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, your couple is who you answer to, right? So, in my opinion, if I have a different perspective as a tenured artist to, say, the videographer they hired, or, you know, if they hired some, like, a coordinator or something, and I'm like, hey, like, I think this would be a better option, and I speak to the vendor and the vendor disagrees with me, I go straight to the bride.
Yeah.
Because the bride is the one who makes the final decision. Like,
no, seriously. Yeah. And even though we don't want to stress them on their big day, I mean, literally at the end of the day, it's the bride or it's the groom. They are going to be the ones that are going to decide, like, yeah, we want this. We want to prioritize that. You know, things change very last minute.
Exactly.
So right now, speaking of, videographers, BFFs or friendly competition? Like, how do you guys manage to both get the shot without being in the way of, like, one another?
So I actually am a videographer and a photographer myself.
Okay.
So with my business, I do run both sides a lot of the times. And a lot of the times my clients come to me and say, hey, I want to hire you for photo and video.
Okay.
So my number one thing with videographers is that they understand that we are both there to do a job. This is for our clients. And when they run under me, they know me. Yeah. Right. We are friends. We've known each other. Like, we have tenure together.
You know how to work together.
We know how to work together. Yeah. And if I have an issue or something, I am not afraid to say it. When it is a third party videographer and I'm hired for photography and maybe they went somewhere else for video, or they have a uncle or a cousin or somebody else doing video.
There's always an uncle. Yes, there's always a cousin.
There is always an uncle and a cousin with the camera. I just want to say that. And no other vendor pool is there somebody who shows up with a photo booth or someone unannounced who's a florist. But in my specific niche in photography, there is always a uncle or a cousin or a friend who is a photographer.
Yep.
Right. And
and they'll just do it for a free dinner.
Yes. And it is like, it's not, it's something that I understand, right? Because people want photos. Everybody has phones now. I say videographers, photographers collaborate. We collaborate. And a lot of us, there isn't that many videographers in San Antonio area. Between San Antonio and Austin, I feel like I know pretty much all the videographers.
We're limited, yeah.
Yeah, that are available and that are willing to do wedding work, right? Because like I said, there's so many different niches within the creative community you can go into. But I will say that when you are walking down the aisle, my number one thing is to have a videographer that is able to walk back with me. If I am down the aisle and they are doing their first kiss and I am there getting that first kiss, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with the videographer.
Yeah.
Either that or the videographer goes lower and I go higher.
Okay.
But it needs to be like a team effort. Like, if we're walking back together.
How hard is it? So let's say, for example, if it's a third party, it's not your company that you're working with for that day. Do you guys talk before, or is this already something that's known? Like, how do you coordinate? I mean, it's you only have one try during that first kiss or when they're walking down the aisle. How do you guys coordinate that?
It's hard to say, Marco, because it's different for everything. I mean, there's people that have been videographers for years that really do know what they're doing and are able to snap into place and know exactly where to go, just like I know exactly where to go. And then there's people who have done it for 2 months.
How frustrating is it to deal with somebody like that?
It can be. It can be because, my brain, I'm like always wanting to help, right? I'm always being like, oh, I want to help the bride. I want to help the groom. And so sometimes when I'm watching this new videographer who doesn't really know what they're doing in this industry yet, and they're trying to figure out their settings, they're trying to figure out this or that, the good in me wants to be like, let me help you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to produce a product where this bride or this
but at the same time you have to worry about you.
Exactly. So I've let it go. Yeah. I've said, if this bride or groom decides to hire out to another source and they know that they're hiring a beginner, or they know that they're hiring a videographer for, I don't know, $500, $600 for the day, then they should know and expect that the price point they pay is probably what they're going to receive.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if it's a shaky video with no audio and
girl, don't be talking about me like that.
We don't have our frames per second correctly on anything.
Please do not be venting my settings out here in the Tipsy Guest podcast.
But I'm just saying, there's levels to this, and I feel like that's why it makes it so difficult to know off the bat, because there are all different levels to creatives.
Yeah, and it's not like we're talking really, bad about new vendors, mm-hmm. but like you said, spend some money in good education, in good equipment, in good, I've always said it takes money to make money.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business, but it's also an art.
Yeah, you have to really, you have to spend time. You have to spend money. You have to want to learn to be good, to be able to be good.
Yes, and then the equipment too. A lens can make or break you. A camera body can make or break you. There's some camera bodies that can only run video for 15 to 20 minutes before overheating. Yeah. And there's some that can go for hours. When you go into cinematography, that's another level. There's videography, then there's cinematography.
It's so crazy to learn. And people ask me all the time, and I've said this many, many, many times. People ask me, they're like, well, you're a photographer, or they tell me you're a photographer. And I'm like, no, I am not a photographer. I obviously, I own a photo booth rental company, but it's a complete different game. Touching a button to take a picture in the photo booth, it's a complete different game than being an actual photographer. So when people ask me, or when they tell me, they're like, hey, can you take photos just of us? Blah. I'm like, no, because I don't want to ruin your photos. I'm always honest with people. I'm not just going to try to sell a bigger package by saying oh yeah, we'll take your photos as well. No, that's never going to happen, because what you guys do is it's a complete different thing than what I do as a photo booth company.
It is, and it takes a lot of knowledge. It does, and once you get to the point where you are tenured, like me, I've done weddings for a decade. I know my settings like the back of my hand.
I saw you earlier when you were here doing your...
Yeah.
So guys, let me just tell you a little behind the scenes here. So she showed up early, and I was like, you know what, girl? I am going to take advantage of you right now, and you're going to show me how to use a camera.
Not the taking advantage of.
Not that kind. Not that kind. We have been drinking, but we're not that drunk. No, seriously. So I was like, you know what? Show me how to do this. And the way she was changing the settings on the camera, it's like the way I handle my remote control for my TV. We
don't do autofocus here, ladies and gentlemen.
It was incredible. Seriously, it was incredible the way I saw you maneuver that camera and the settings, and that is exactly the pressure that you have at a real wedding.
Yes,
Marco. You have to change from one setting to another within seconds.
2 seconds, actually.
It's crazy. I honestly respect, because you guys are incredible with what you do.
Yeah, and it's all while thinking creatively too. You can't just have one part of your brain going, which is your technical side. You also have to have your creativity and your art side going simultaneously.
It is so incredible. That is exactly, guys. guys out there, like seriously, if you reach out to a photographer and you think they are too expensive, there is a reason why they charge what they charge, because they are talented.
Yes, it is a talent. It is. And it's not just anybody can do it either.
Yeah.
Because I could teach somebody everything I know about the settings on a camera, and I could reiterate it, and you, Marco, even could learn how to do all your manual settings and do your frames per second. But it's what you do with the knowledge and how you create from that knowledge that makes you an artist.
I love it. You are an artist, girl. You are an artist.
Yes, and I love it. I am definitely an artist, and I feel like that is what I want to bring into this wedding industry. This is my time to shine. I have learned. I have done my education. I have second shot. I have done everything that I've needed to do to learn my technical side and my knowledge side, and now it's the time for me to show you what I'm capable of as an artist. And I think that is what differentiates someone who just takes a photo and someone who creates a piece of art that's going to be an heirloom piece for generations to come.
I love that. So let's talk about red flags here. We're going to talk red flags about... So there's two different red flags that we're going to talk about here. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of touched on the vendor side a little bit already. But let's say, for example, what is a red flag? What would be your biggest red flag when meeting a couple? Mm-hmm. And what would be your biggest red flag when working with another vendor? And it doesn't have to be another photographer or videographer, just a wedding vendor in general.
Okay. So with a couple, a red flag for me is price.
Okay.
When somebody immediately asks me how much I am and lets me know that they are also interviewing other photographers, that's probably not the couple for me.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I truly feel as a photographer, it is the art that they should be concerned with. They should be concerned with my editing style, how it looks and how it renders, and the art part. And that should be their number one concern. Price is here and there. Like I go to the grocery store, I spend $300. What is price?
Yeah.
Right?
Girl, what are you buying?
What is price? The best of the best, so I could keep you on.
I like to eat good.
Yeah, but what is price? It's not what I'm selling. I am not concerned with price. I'm concerned with people who are concerned with art. I'm concerned with people who are concerned with quality.
Yeah.
I'm concerned with people who DM me and say, I saw your photos and it is exactly what I want for my wedding. Are you available on this date?
Take my money here. Take my credit card.
Literally, that's the client that I'm going to chase and be like, absolutely, like here, let's set up a consultation. Let's talk over the phone. Let's talk about your theme, your colors, what you're wearing, what you want out of this. Do you already have a Pinterest board? Do we need to make a Pinterest board? Like, what is your vision for your wedding? Those are things that I'm concerned about. The price is the last part.
Yeah.
We have options for that. I got payment plans. I got all types of stuff. We have options for the price. You're never going to get your wedding day back.
And like you said earlier, you get booked like a year, sometimes 2 years in advance. There is time to make those payment arrangements.
Absolutely.
I would say, honestly, one thing that I always say to people, it's like, if you're going to spend money, I would say photography is definitely where you want to spend a good amount of money, because like you said right now, that is something that you are going to keep forever, and you're going to pass it on generation after generation.
Oh, and I know Marco, when you walk into your grandma's house and you see the china cabinet with all of your family's wedding photos from, the 1800s, it feels like, down to 2026.
Seriously.
And it is a serious thing, you walk into the Comador and you're seeing, your grandparents when they got married. You see your mom and dad when they got married. You're seeing yourself when you got married. Like, these are pieces that stay with people forever. Forever and ever.
Literally.
And ever. And as long as your family lineage is continued, usually you will have your wedding photos from way back in the day. I just went to a wedding recently, this last weekend, where they had, and it was the best thing I think I've ever seen as a wedding photographer. So shout out to my bride, Marissa. I love you so much. It was her entrance table, and her entrance table had photos of every single couple that had been married in her family since the 1800s. I kid you not. It was even like, there was even one that was on wood, that was printed on wood, and it kind of looked a little eerie, like those ghost photos you see. You know,
my favorite.
It was, yes, exactly. Like almost like the tin ones, you know.
Wow.
But from every generation, and she had them there to show people when they walked into her wedding what her family has looked like through the generations of being married.
Yeah.
So I mean, marriage is something that's it's so traditional. It's so historical. There's so much stuff behind it. It has grit and beauty and art and creativity, and there's so much to go into it. Like, so.
I love weddings just in general.
Me
honestly,
too.
did you ever, when you were little,
Uh-huh.
did you ever even imagine that you were going to end up in the wedding industry?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm just kidding. I mean, watching the, all of the TV shows that I used to watch and seeing just different things on TV. And I was always a big fan of Say Yes to the Dress.
Okay.
I was always a big fan of just the wedding industry in general. And then also just like that princess moment of falling in love, I will stay at home and watch Bridgerton. I will stay at home and watch Pride and Prejudice and all of these, romance, The Notebook.
Oh, that is my favorite movie ever.
Yes, I am just a fan of love and romance, and I feel like a good photographer can pull emotion from the subjects that they have and be able to capture that emotion. And that's what makes photography good, is the capture of your subject's emotion on a frame that's going to last forever.
Girl, you're going to make me cry here.
I could go on and on about the love I have for this industry, but it's definitely why I chose it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. But let's get back to the drama here.
Yes.
Red flags. Now talk to me about vendors. What is a red flag when it comes to a vendor that you're working with? And I want you to tell me everything.
Gosh,
girl.
I'd honestly, a red flag. I've walked into some weddings and I'm like, hey, where's the bride? And there's like, over there. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm like, could you be a little more specific, a little bit friendlier?
A little bit more pep to your step. I feel like a red flag to me is when it seems like they're there for the money or for work versus being there for the couple that has hired them.
You know what's a big, like, oh my God, I could not stand it. For me, when a vendor is not dressed
appropriately.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Yes.
Oh Jesus, please dress up.
I have not seen it to date, but if I ever see a vendor wearing white on a bride's wedding day, I am definitely gonna say something.
I have never seen that.
I've never
but
seen it.
I have seen vendors, and I'm talking photographers, I'm talking videographers, I'm talking catering people wearing shorts and like tennis shoes, and just like, I'm like, it's okay to wear that during setup, but not during the actual wedding.
No.
Like, what the hell? You're going to stand up for the wrong reasons. Like, I don't want you standing. I always tell my employees, I'm like, we do not want to stand out for the wrong reasons. We do not want to be overdressed, and we do not want to be underdressed, which is why we always ask.
Absolutely.
We always ask what the dress code is.
Yes. And I have seen, my worst nightmare story. We're not name dropping here, but I have seen a videographer that I know show up in a red shirt that looked like he walked out of a Pepsi Cola factory.
No.
To a wedding with blue jeans.
No.
And I'm like,
I had a perfect example here, and I told my niece. So I did my nephew and my niece's wedding. We did the photo booth for them. And later, after the wedding, I told her, my niece, I was like, Girl, what the hell? Your photographer was barefoot the entire time.
Barefoot? Hold on.
I'm like, girl, you're not freaking Shakira on stage. You're at a wedding working like, it's not just, I mean, obviously you have to look presentable.
Yeah.
But you also, I mean, this is a liability issue. Like, glass could be broken and then you're going to cut yourself. Like,
not to mention your lower back. Like, no support whatsoever for your feet. Like,
oh my gosh. No. Like, that is one of my biggest, like, pet peeves, like, seriously, when it comes to vendors.
Yeah.
You please dress the part. Like, you're a professional. You need to look like you're a guest at the wedding and not like a random person that just walked into a wedding. You don't want to look like a wedding crasher.
Yes, no, exactly. And like, I feel like the biggest thing within the creative industry too is that like people are like, well, we don't have the money to buy the dress, or we don't have the money to. And I'm like, well, then you should be doing more research as to what you should charge or what's appropriate to charge, because you do need the money to show up and look appropriate.
Girl, let's be honest here.
Like,
we are wedding vendors. Mm-hmm. We are rich.
I wish. Not me eating in the client closet the other day, trying to kneel down in the middle of right before toast, having like 10 minutes. Having 10 minutes.
This is a joke that I have with one of the wedding planners that I work with all the time. I always tell her, I'm like, girl, you are rich. You work so much. You are rich, and I can see it. I can smell it on you. But no, serious talk here. It might look like we are rich. Well, at least for me, because I love expensive shoes.
Marco's like, it might look like I'm well off.
You might see me traveling all over the world and wearing my Louis Vuittons every single time. But honestly,
you better have the guards underneath your red bottoms. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta.
But seriously, we don't have to be rich to dress nice. Seriously,
no, you don't.
Here's a story. The other day, I was driving to do a setup for one of my. I love to do setups with my photo booths. We do setups earlier in the day. I love to do my setups, and then my staff, they just show up to work the event.
Yeah.
Well, I made a mistake one time where I didn't really I didn't really take into consideration where the event was happening. I thought it was in Bernie, but it was not in Bernie. It was like way south. We were like literally closer to Laredo than we were to San Antonio, and I had not realized that.
Wait, isn't that like the opposite direction?
Yes.
Wait,
yes. No. This is where it gets crazy. I honestly thought that it was within I was doing a setup at the Kendall Point, and then I was like, oh, I'll do the other setup right after because it's in the same area. When I Googled it, oh my God, it was like 2 hours away, the opposite direction.
Oh my
God. So we were not going to have time for my assistant to make it to the wedding on time. So as I'm driving I can't even remember the town of where I was driving. I literally had to Google a Target or a Walmart close by. And
just to get an outfit real quick.
Just to get an outfit because I knew that my attendant was not going to have time to make it out there. So I was wearing just shorts. I was wearing like flip-flops. I was wearing like, typical.
Casual.
I was casual.
Out.
So I was like, holy shit. Now I have to figure out a way to change and do the setup and stay and work the actual event. So going back to you don't have to have a crazy amount of money to look good. I literally stopped at a random Target and I bought shoes, socks, pants, shirt, belt. I bought an entire outfit at Target to look presentable to work that wedding that I was doing the setup for because my attendant was not going to have time. It was my mistake. I did not coordinate. I did not GPS everything exactly the way it should have been. So it was my fault. But this goes to show you that you don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to look presentable.
Exactly. I feel like it's the effort you put into it. But I also feel like that's the difference between hiring a vendor who is going to care and who is really going to show up and be there for you versus hiring a vendor you found off of Facebook last minute.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I also feel like there's levels to that as well, because I personally agree with you. I would go out of my way to go and get an outfit from wherever, Ross, Target, to get something that I'm going to look presentable in to show up to your wedding. In fact, I do that days before. I plan what I'm going to wear. And because there's all different types of religions too, right? Like, I have done weddings that are Jewish based. I've done weddings that are Jehovah Witness. I've done weddings that are Catholic. I've done weddings that are non-religious. So like every wedding has a different vibe. In fact, this next year, I'm going to be doing a wedding that is more of a cosplay themed, doing Persephone and Hades. So the attire for the wedding is toga robes.
I cannot.
Yes.
Do they need a photo booth? Please give them my name. I want to work that wedding.
Right? It is absolutely amazing. And I just did their engagement shoot, which we did live fire, which is awesome. We did studio fire. It's beautiful. So a look out on my page for that post that will be coming very soon.
I love it. All right, girl. And speaking of your page, okay, we are running out of time here. So I want you to tell our listeners, where can they go find you? Where can they see your art? Where can they see your amazing work?
Oh, gosh, everywhere. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, just flip through Vogue
just
magazine.
Blink. Just blink. Blink twice if you need me to send me your page. No, you could go on Facebook. I have a great following on Facebook, Infinite Photography SA. You can look me up there. I have thousands of followers. That is where I initially started my business so many years ago. You can also look me up on Instagram now as Infinite Photography SA as well. If you go to Google and you Google Infinite Photography SA, I will pop up along with all of my client reviews too. So if you're an interested client, you can go on there. I am very proud of all of my reviews, so please read them.
I love reviews.
Important. It's important.
I love reviews,
You
honestly.
need to know who you're hiring, so it's important. And then I am also on TikTok too. TikTok is a work in progress. We are already in our 30s, so
I know, girl. I know.
It's a work in progress when it comes to talking to a camera like it's an actual person. I am working on it, but you can find me on there as well. Really, you can find me anywhere. I even have my own website, but I really, really, really want you and encourage you to go on there and look through the stuff, like any vendor you hire, be it me, you, or anyone else. Like, look through your social medias, Google them, look through their reviews, their items, and everything like that, so that by the time you get to your consultation, you decide to talk to that person, you are in a more comfortable state of mind to know that that person is your person, or maybe it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, girl. We are out of time. Any last minute advice here for our couples listening when it comes to hiring a photographer?
Gosh, I would say go with what your heart wants. If the art speaks to you and your heart is saying, man, that is my photographer, and I know that's her or that's him, and I can just feel it, like, do it. It doesn't matter. Like, don't look at your prices. Don't look at that. Like, remember that that's the only thing you're going to have when you're 80 years old is going to be that picture or that photo or that video of you getting married to the person that you love and that you've loved for 40 or 50 years at that point. And nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. We age, unfortunately, and with age, we lose who we were at one point, and photography is truly the only way to make that stay still. So I think that if I could give advice to anyone, do what your heart tells you. When you see the photographer or the photos that speak to you, do what your heart tells you.
Love it. Thank you so much, Mandy. All right. Guys, that's it for today. We will catch you next Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I had a fantastic time with you.
Me too, honestly.
All right, let's cheers here.
Yay!
Cheers, girl. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.